All right, I hit start. Can you hear the music? You can hear it on there? Is it fine in relation to like my voice talking if I'm talking like this the entire time?
Perfect.
Beautiful. All right, guys. We're gonna give everybody 1 or 2 minutes to get online, and then it's time to witness culinary excellence, or at least decency. 1 or 2 of those will happen. So, get your ingredients together. Get your equipment together. You'll need 2 pans. 1 large one for the spinach, 1 smaller one for the balsamic glaze if you're making your own balsamic glaze. You'll need a baking sheet lined with some aluminum foil. That's right, shining bright like a diamond over here. You'll need a cutting board, 2 if you have them, because it'll make things easier. And olive oil. Get ready, y'all. We got a little The Dip in the background playing for you while I take a pee and wash my hands and get started. All right, that's been about long enough, guys. So get ready. Grab your utility belts if you have them, AKA aprons. Make sure you get a nice sharp knife. We're gonna need it to split open this pork tenderloin. And oh, don't ever forget the first step of cooking. Grab a drink. It makes cooking a hell of a lot of fun. Plus, nobody's gonna talk any crap because you're making them food. All right. Outstanding. First thing you gotta do anytime you're cooking food, guys, preheat the oven. Come on, basic step. We're gonna go to 400 degrees this time. All right, so while that's preheating, now make sure your oven's empty too. I often accidentally leave my baking sheet in my oven and then it's all hot and I destroy everything. So let's not do that today. While that preheats, we're gonna go ahead and prep a couple of things. Get your pork tenderloin, get some paper towels ready because we're gonna wash the pork tenderloin because you should wash all of your meat. Red meat, don't worry about it so much, but pretty much everything else. Give a nice little rinsey. Put that bad boy over. Ooh, that is a nice pork tenderloin right there. A very long, delicious piece of meat. Hope you like that as much as I do. I didn't mean that to sound the way it did, but you know what I mean. Wash it good. Just get it all off there, okay? There we are. Wash with cold water too. Don't wash with super hot water. You don't want to mess up the temperature of your meat. Put that right on the paper towels. Let that dry for a second. I'm very clean while I cook, guys, so you'll catch me kind of cleaning everything up as I go along. And so I'm going to go throw this pork tenderloin out, wash my hands again, and then we're going to show you guys how to split this puppy open. Now there are two ways that you can split open the pork tenderloin. There's one way where basically you open it up like a book. So you'll take it right in the middle of it long ways and you're going to slice down it about 3/4 of the way through. Then you open it up and you pound it out on both sides to make it the right, you want to go about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch thick. That way it's good for rolling. But what we're going to do, my favorite method, is going to be to slice it and roll it. So what I do is I lay it long ways and I start on one side of it, go about 1/4 of the way in, and then you slice down about 3/4 of the way through, roll it a little, slice down, roll it, slice it open. The book method is the easiest, but I have neighbors and I don't like to be pounding a bunch of shit in my kitchen. They call the cops, they think I murdered my wife, and then before you know it, I don't get to eat my delicious dinner. So I'm going to do my method. You can choose whichever way you like, because both are incredibly efficient. Just slicing in here, get it right along the edge. See, spread it wide open. A little further down. It's nice. Just make sure you don't cut it all the way. As long as you don't cut it all the way and you maintain some consistency in the meat, you're good to go. Split a little more here. Spread it open some. Go right on the side here. And bam. You have a beautifully opened up pork tenderloin ready to be stuffed with delicious fillings. Now you don't have to use spinach and Italian cheeses, but that's what we're doing tonight, and it pairs very well with the glaze. So get ready. I'm gonna wash my hands again. You're gonna notice me washing my hands about 47,000 times tonight, and it's because I'm very serious about keeping my food disease-free. However, hair don't care. Hair gets in there, it is what it is. It is what it is. Look at that beautiful little puff. Can't stop that. It's the puff of legends. There's my meat. We're only at 155, which is perfect. Next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to season the inside and the outside of the pork tenderloin. Don't over season, because we're also going to be seasoning the spinach. There's going to be a little brush on the outside with some olive oil later, and plus, with the cheeses and all the salt you're going to get from the Italian cheeses, you really don't need to go too crazy. So we're going to lightly dust both sides of this open pork tenderloin with a little bit of salt, pepper. We're going to use a little bit of onion powder. We're going to use a little bit of garlic powder. You can notice the way it should look. The tenderloin nice and open. It was round before. Now it's nice and split down the centers. If anybody has any questions or anything like that, I can't really read my screen, but Rifey Wifey is watching. She's in the background. So feel free to ask any questions as we go along cooking this meal. If you need me to slow down, just to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're cooking dinner together, guys. Because that's what this is about. A little slice of Rife. A little you get to come into my life. You get to see the way I cook dinner for my wife. And if you do this for your wife, chances are your life will be a little more rife. And that's not a bad thing.
Rife with happiness.
Rife with happiness. It'll be rife with... that's very nice. Thank you, wife.
You're welcome.
Thank you, wife.
Anthony said...
Always give them credence.
Anthony said that you can cut the tenderloin the fun way or the nasty way.
Always go the nasty way. Please, Mr. Changes, always go the nasty way. All right, let's go ahead, let's season this bad boy. Again, not too much, we're just gonna sprinkle it, a little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh cracked pepper here. Go a little bit of this onion powder, which recently I found out my wife is not allergic to, which sucked for about 2 years of my life because I had to avoid all things onion. A little garlic. Beautiful, it's flipper. Oh yeah. Ooh, that is nice. Get over here. Something I don't see everybody do is washing your hands between touching meat and touching your spices. Not everything you spice gets cooked, okay? You might pull that salt out one day to sprinkle it on top of like a nice chip dip or something, and before you know, bam, salmonella. Not fun. Salmonella, not fun. Let's go ahead and get the other side here. Light little sprinkle of some salt. Again, we got our onion powder. A little garlic. A little black pepper, guys. Now the inside is the side you want to roll with. I don't want to roll with the outside of it, so I have to flip it back over one more time. Just going to make sure that everything I goes into the inside. There's just more fats and things on the outside of the pork tenderloin. That's better for searing and it's better for juices seeping in. So you want to make sure you don't accidentally roll it the wrong way. Pretend it's a nice J, you know, and you either want to put a filter in or you don't want to put a filter in. You're going to want to put the filter in because you don't want to get the bad stuff in your mouth. You want all the good stuff. So that's what we're doing here. We're putting filters in. Keep these over here. We're going to need these a little bit for our spinaca. All right, got this going. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cook the spinach because the spinach has to cool for a little bit before we actually put it into the oven. Now the way that I'm going to do this meal, guys, is we're going to be cooking the whole time. It's going to take us about 45 minutes, and at the end, everything's going to finish around the same time. That way, you're eating dinner and everything's hot. And you're not sitting there with, you know, nasty cold asparagus or nasty cold pork tenderloin while, you know, the rest of your food is delicious. So you're going to go medium heat for the spinach, medium to medium low. I don't like to cook spinach too hot. It's easy to overcook, and there's no reason. You're really just wilting it and softening it up. So we're going to go at around 4.5. I like to go around 4.5. A little drizzle of olive oil in the pan. And it's going to look like a lot of spinach because we're going to make about a whole bag of spinach. But at the rate at which this wilts, you're really just going to have enough to kind of spread across your pork tenderloin. Sometimes I do 2. We have extra spinach. It's not going to hurt anybody. I don't know what kind of Italian cheese blend you got, but I went Sargento. Because when you needed the Italian cheese, a Sargento, she's the way to go, yeah? Okay. I don't know. Maybe they sponsor me later, guys. Don't hate on it. I'm working on this thing. All right, while this heats up here, we can go ahead and we can grab a second cutting board if you have one, and we can prep the asparagus. I'll put the pork tenderloin out of the way for a moment. Now, all these things are going to be cooked, so if you need to use the same cutting board, it's really not that big of a deal. The asparagus is going to go into the oven. It's going to kill anything that the pork might have touched it with. Plus, pork these days, you don't have to cook the whole way through. It's not that big of a deal. You got to cook it a little. You know, don't just go scooping raw pork like it's carpaccio into your mouth because you're going to get sick. You're going to die. And that's not advice you got on my show. Huh?
Bam, salmonella.
Bam! No, you get E. coli from beef. Well, no, what do you get from pork?
Bad news.
It's not good. Whatever it is from pork, I don't know what pork gives you, because I know chicken is salmonella, and I know beef is E. coli. Whatever pork gives you, not a good thing. If you know what it is, text in, because I want to know, and Andy will let me know if she sees that. I'm working a little quicker than expected. I like this. All right. Oven's already almost there. Got this going. Gonna gonna take a second to heat. If you ever want to know if your pan's fully heated, which this is not at all, if you have a little olive oil in there, what you do is you just take a little drop of water, just something, a little drop of water on your fingertip, throw it in there. If it sizzles up and dissipates real quick, your pan's hot enough to cook on. If it doesn't, if it just kind of sits on top and you don't see it sizzling and popping and going nuts, you're not ready yet. Whatever you put in there is not gonna sear right and you're gonna have a bad time. It's like if you're skiing and you French fry when you're supposed to pizza, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay, so don't French fry when you're supposed to pizza. Don't put food in an unhot pan. Let's go ahead and get our asparagus out here. I wash it. It says pre-washed, but I don't trust you. I mean, really? Come on, I work in a place where I see a lot of other people do their jobs, and a lot of those people don't do what they're supposed to do. So when it boils down to me believing that somebody else at their job has done their job and done their job correctly, I'm skeptical. I'm just gonna say I'm skeptical. I don't necessarily 100% go, oh no, that's USDA certified. Yeah, no, that guy really knows his beef. He knows it's what's for dinner. He's gonna pay attention to it. Because he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't know what the hell he's doing. It's probably some guy, 22 years old, just got caught doing something reckless, needs to go out and get a job, found a job, inspected beef. Now he's looking at your beef, and you know what he's doing? He's picking his nose. He's picking his nose. He's not looking at your beef. He's picking his nose. Yeah, that's right. Now your beef has boogers. So I like to rinse the boogers off my beef. This is asparagus, but you get the point. It's rinsed. Let's get a new knife.
Just set good tip on the water in the pan, but just have a fire extinguisher just in case, because water on grease fire is bad news.
Sir, I'm always hanging out prepared. Okay? There was an old friend of mine, Fire Marshal Bill, and he taught me quite a few lessons. If you're hanging out in a kitchen and you decide you want to put a little water on a grease fire, let me show you something. That's the best I got from my Jim Carrey Fire Marshal Bill impression. That's all you're going to get. But I am going to sharpen this knife, and I'm going to sharpen it just to cut the tips off this asparagus. There we go. So you can see, I cut out about that much asparagus. I really only like the tips anyways. Sometimes I cut off more, but this is a little more frugal and logical. You get more asparagus, a little more bang for your buck. So we'll start there tonight. Now what I'm gonna do, as a way to make sure everything comes out at the same time, is I'm gonna throw the pork tenderloin right in there for about 15 minutes. Then I'm gonna add the asparagus right around it. And what should happen is it all should finish at about the same time, because it's going to take about 25-30 minutes or so to cook the pork tenderloin once we've stuffed it. And it's getting nice and hot. I'm going to heat up just a second longer. It's looking good. You know, let's go ahead. Let's try the test. Let's see if it's ready, guys. That's not ready. That is not ready. That's going to sizzle in a minute, and I'm going to know when it's ready, because now there's just water sitting on top of that olive oil, waiting to get hot enough to cook on. Go ahead and bump it up to a little over medium. We're going to speed this process up a little bit, guys.
Ryan Condon says, rinse your knife after sharpening, or you'll be adjusting steel clips.
Oh, really? Oh, exciting. All right, guys. Hey, we just got a little tip. Apparently, after sharpening your knife, you should rinse it. Otherwise, you may ingest little tiny steel flakes. But if you're Superman like me and you're built out of steel already, I mean, it's kind of just additives. It's almost like nutrients. So I guess every time I sharpen my knife, I'm taking my vitamins. All right, our oven is preheated, so we're gonna put this asparagus to the side for a moment. Pull out our pork tenderloin again. Go ahead and get this spinach cooking. I'm liking it. We're feeling pretty good. We are feeling decent here. All right, we're going to go on in there. Yeah, it's sizzling. That's that water that's on the spinach sizzling. Go ahead, it seems like a lot. Don't worry about it. Pile it on there. It's all gonna wilt down. You're just gonna let it cook for a few minutes. Got about 3/4 of the bag in there. While it's cooking, just go ahead, a little salt, a little pepper. Don't add anything else. The onion and garlic you got a lot of already. So we're just gonna add a little bit of this pepper. Add a little salt. Then we're just gonna go ahead and let this cook for a minute or two, guys. Once that's finished, we'll let it cool. We're gonna spread it on top of this pork tenderloin with a little bit of cheese, and then we're gonna roll it back up. Now, if you don't already have your toothpicks ready, get your toothpicks ready, because we're gonna use toothpicks to close it up. We're not gonna razor Ramon them and wear them in our mouth to wrestle people, but we are gonna use them to close things up. This is what I like to call the drink break portion of cooking dinner. So you sit back, you admire what you've done so far. Catch up if you're behind, obviously, if you're cooking along at home, and have a sip. Very good band if you don't listen to them. You may like them. I would give them a go. It's time to toss the spinach a little bit. All right, now that we've got a lot of this to wilt, we're gonna go ahead and add the rest of the spinach, okay? You can put it right on top. It's not a problem. But you are gonna drizzle just a tiny bit more olive oil when you do it. So we've added the remainder. Tiny little drizzle. Just to make sure that we can coat all of the spinach. And it's not a bad time to add just a little extra salt and pepper. Just a smidge. See, it's all going to cook down into the pan. And we'll have just enough to spread across our pork tenderloin. Make sure your cheese is open and ready to go. I've had mine out for a little bit just to make sure. And now what you can do if you want to be a little proactive is you can actually start going ahead and putting a couple of things away. We no longer really need the salt. We don't really need the pepper. We don't really need the garlic. We don't really need the onion, guys. We're done with most of those things. This saves you from the woes of what I call cleanup detention, basically. It's like you just made the delicious food, but now you're stuck. And you have to clean up all this terrible, terrible nonsense. You know, like, no, just clean it up while you go. Make sure everything stays nice and tidy. And you're good to go. Honestly, we don't really even need this olive oil anymore. We're done with this. Oh, I lied. No, we do. We need to brush the pork tenderloin. Don't put your olive oil away. If you just went and put your olive oil away, I'm sorry. Glad they hate me. Tell me you hate me, I don't care. Alright, your spinach should be about done right now. Go ahead and turn that off. We'll leave it overheat for the time being. We're going to come over here. We're going to spread our pork tenderloin with some delicious cheese.
Where's your apron from?
Birchbox, actually. I got it from Birchbox.
That was Man Tree.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Birchbox, but it came from a separate company that was just sponsored by Birchbox. And I don't know. It has an R and an S on it, so if that means anything to you, you can go ahead and take that to the bank. But that's about all I know. I kind of got it randomly, and I loved it, so I kept it. You find many photos of me wearing nothing but it somewhere online. I won't tell you where. That's for you to find out. But they're good photos. Alright, so let's sprinkle this thing with cheese now. You don't have to go ham. A lot of the cheese is going to end up melting out anyways. It just happens. This thing has ends. It kind of seeps a little. But give it a little bit of cheese, just a thin little layer over the entire thing. We're going to roll this thing up like a pinwheel. So really, if you can look at it, you just want a nice thin little layer of cheese all around it. Alright, so that's good. That's good right there. So you can see the way this looks. Right here, just a nice little thin layer of cheese. Nothing too crazy. Just enough. And now we're gonna go ahead and add the spinach. You bring a little towel over here, baby. I have to keep putting this sink over off to the side to keep it out of the camera shot. And I'm an idiot who turns it on before I spin it back, and water's pissing all over the side of the countertop. Those are the things I'm dealing with tonight because this is my first time. So things I didn't think about. Welcome to the process. This is what happens when you screw up real time.
It's real life.
Yes. All right.
It's real life.
So here we go. Now all you want to do?
Camera.
Oh no, it's right. It's up over here.
Oh, I see it. Oh,
but you can come on camera if you want. I have a very beautiful wife.
You make a mess. Oh Lord.
Yeah, I know. Your spinach should be nice and wilted, so it should look just about like this. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna take it. We're just gonna spread it out on top of this pork tenderloin. So just go ahead and take it, spread it out around here. Make sure you got a little bit all over the place. There we go. Now what's nice about this meal is it's not very difficult to do. It's actually pretty easy, which is awesome, because you can do this to impress people, or you can do it just, you know, as like something you feel like eating on a Wednesday night. That's what I did today. Something I felt like eating on a Wednesday night. And here I am, pork tenderloin, about to be rolled up. So far all I've done really is roast spinach and cut some pork. So there you are, right there. It almost looks like a flatbread pizza, ready to go into the oven. But we're not going to do that. We're going to roll it up. So just start on one side and just start to roll it as tight as you can. Okay? There's no wrong way to do this. There's no right way to do this. Just do it as tight as you can. And then when we get to the end, we're going to use a couple of toothpicks, usually 3 or 4 toothpicks. Just poke them through at the very end and make sure that this whole thing holds together for us. So let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. Oh, there we go. Ooh. All right. So now you've got your pork tenderloin wrapped and rolled and looking just exquisite. Make sure you're on the bottom side of it where you're going to be able to put those toothpicks in. Because now here's where the toothpicks go, guys. We're going to pop these in here. We're going to make sure we keep this bad boy together. This is an important part. Don't mess this part up or skimp on this part. If you need extra toothpicks, use extra toothpicks. Make sure it stays together. You're going to hold a lot more of the juices in. You go ahead and I'm going to get one more toothpick. Usually I can do it with 3. This time I'm using 4. It's cut a little thin on one side. I want to make sure I get this little bottom end to really stay together for me. What did he say?
Rolling a fatty.
Yeah, basically you're rolling a fatty. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I won't call out who said that, but essentially that's what you're doing. Maybe that's why I like this dish and I'm good at it. It's a possibility. But here we go. Let's get this last little piece at the end here. Really roll this over. Hold this together. Okay. So now our pork tenderloin is ready to go into the oven, guys. So we're going to go ahead and take this. We're going to pop this bad boy right down here on the side. All right, push those toothpicks nice and through, because you want the bottom side, the side that ended folding, you want that on the bottom. So you don't want it to be wrapped over on the top. You want the top to be the bulk of the meat and the hottest part. There we are. Beautiful. I will bring it over so you can see it. I will show you what I'm talking about. That way, if you are cooking along, we should be on about the same page. You got a couple minutes to catch up if we're not. If you're ahead of me, I don't know why you're watching. Congratulations, you're the man and or the woman.
That says quick sear first, no?
No, don't need to quick sear with this. We're gonna brush it with some olive oil and we're throwing it in hot enough where it's gonna cook perfectly on the outside. The hot sear, all it's gonna do is make it tough for me to make sure that I keep all the cheese and spinach inside and keep the whole thing together. Now, if I had some kitchen wrap and I was cooking it on the grill, that's a whole nother method. But tonight, we're just roasting. And when you roast, no necessity for the quick seal, sir. However, this is the part that you want on top. You don't want the part where you can see all the toothpicks and all the little rollings and stuff like that on part. That part should go on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and throw this right in the oven. Notice how I left room. I put it off to the side. The asparagus is going to go right next to it. And that way, we have everything done at once on the same pan. We minimize our cleanup. We minimize everything about that. Damn, it's right in there. Hey, Siri. Oh, that's probably not a good idea, because that could mess with everything. I'm going to use the timer here. That way it doesn't destroy everything. I'm going to put it on for 15 minutes. Now, it's going to take 25 to 30. However, the 15 minutes is going to be my marking point for when I put in the asparagus, which then is probably going to take 15 to 20 minutes. So they should finish at about the same time, and it should be perfect, and then I just pull the one tray out together. They're watching at the VT? Hey, that's outstanding. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the support. That's kind of awesome. When you're finished, if you get out early enough, you want to come over, have a piece. There might be enough. I don't know. Text Andy. It depends on how much he's allowed to eat tonight. All right. Now, that's going in there. That's going to take about 15 minutes. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and we're going to prep the asparagus here. The asparagus, all I like to do really is just a little salt, pepper, a little olive oil, and then we're going to roast it in the oven right alongside the pork tenderloin. Guys at the VT, I'm sorry for this next part. Oh, it tastes so good. Can't wait for your shift to be over. You can come have one. It is Wind Down Wednesdays at the VT, I should call that out. But if you've decided to spend the night home cooking with me, you're probably not going to go. All right, I'm going to wipe some stuff down. It's kind of like the cleanup in between the 2 rounds of cooking, because the asparagus does 15 minutes before it goes in, and then we're going to start our balsamic glaze. Now, if you've decided not to make the balsamic glaze with us and to just purchase your own balsamic glaze, I mean, all right, cool on you. You know, like you saved a couple of steps, but it's not very hard. It's brown sugar, it's balsamic vinegar. We're basically just going to heat it up and let it simmer for a while. So if you wanted to make your own and then be baller status, where you say, hey, I made my own balsamic glaze tonight, suck it. I'm going to show you how. All right, we got our little plate right up here, and we can go ahead and get this going. Now, the balsamic glaze that we're making, you can make as much of it as you want. I'm going to do a half portion of the recipe that I like, which instead of 2 cups and a half a cup is 1 cup of balsamic, and then it is half a cup of brown sugar. You can choose light or dark brown sugar. I like light brown sugar. I think it's a little bit sweeter and it actually brings on a little more of the balsamic flavoring. So I go that way. So first thing we'll do is actually measure out our dry ingredients, because that way it's not wet. Once you get your measuring cup wet, it's a pain in the ass. Just go ahead and cut open your brown sugar. Make sure you pack it too. Always pack your brown sugar when you're measuring it. A lot of people don't pack it. You don't get enough brown sugar, you mess up the ratio, and then you're gonna have a bad time. It's the pizza when you're supposed to French fry. It's a quarter cup.
Okay.
Yeah, and I measured out a half cup, so thanks.
No, that's what I'm asking.
Nope, that's why I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Look at that. She loves me. She's always ready to call me out in public. Now, I could just use 2 cups of balsamic and be like, no, what I meant was I'm doing the full portion. But I didn't do that. I admitted my wrong, and I thanked my wife. And that is why I'm still married. Because if you don't do that, if you try to be a dick about it, you don't get to stay married. You get to just, go about your way pretending you were right for a very long time, when clearly you were wrong. I don't know how to get this back into the bag. Guys, we're about to have some fun. Andy, I need you. You gonna open this bag up? We're gonna get some of this brown sugar back in the bag. Let's do this over the sink. So that's not terrible. I just need half of it back. No, wait, hold on. No, wait, you haven't washed your hands. You hold the bag.
Okay.
There we go. Because I've washed my hands multiple times. I can touch the brown sugar. Plus, I'm eating the food.
Paul said, is this a recipe for tube steak?
Ooh, but if you want a good recipe for tube steak, maybe check back at around 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll be giving you some live footage. It'll be on the community, if you know what I mean. The hub, so to speak.
Okay.
That's good. I think that's good. All right. I got my quarter of a cup now, and I'm no longer a shitty human being.
Hey, Dad's here.
Hey, what's up, Papa Dukes? Papa Duke's watching. We're gonna get, I don't want to use a whisk. We're just gonna get a fork. All right, grab a fork. Go ahead and pour that brown sugar right in here. We're gonna throw that in the pan, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a cup of this balsamic and we're gonna add it right to it. Ooh. Got me thinking maybe I should have done a half a cup. This is going to be a lot of balsamic glaze. But it's not, because here's the thing. This balsamic glaze is going to reduce quite a bit. And that's the whole reason we're doing this, is we want it thicker, we want it nice, we want it to be able to coat the back of a spoon by the time we're done with it. So we're going to go ahead and put this in there. We're going to let this take its course. Pour it right over the top of the sugar. That's the way I like to do it. We're going to mix the whole thing together. Put this right in here. Now this is going to go right over medium heat. We're going to do it over medium heat just for a little bit while it all mixes together, and then we're going to increase that heat until we see it boil. Then we'll reduce it, we'll watch it simmer down, and for the most part we're just going to kind of watch it after that. We're going to put it right on here. So go to medium high first. Go at about 5, 5.5. If that's the way your oven does it, like mine does. Stir it constantly here in the beginning, guys. You want to keep stirring it.
I got 15 viewers.
Ooh. Spicing it up. Quite a few people watching. I hope you guys are cooking with me too. Yeah, that's the whole point. I want you guys to see this at the end and go, wow, this is awesome. We get to eat this, you know? It's going to be quite delicious. I have made this before. This is not a first time recipe. And I vouch for it. I really do. All right, so we're going to salt and pepper this asparagus just a little bit. Just go ahead and throw a little salt on it. Grind a little pepper to your bad boy. then just a drizzle of some olive oil. Everything needs a drizzle of olive oil. Honestly, even if you want to get a little risky in the matter, a drizzle of olive oil. I'm just saying. It works, it's not bad. You can go coconut oil if you're a health nut, but the only nut oil that I like in certain areas of my bedroom are not cocoa nuts. Anyways, we're going to continue just here. You're just going to go ahead and kind of roll the asparagus just a little bit. Just roll it around. Make sure it all gets coated with some olive oil and a little salt and pepper there, guys. Go ahead and wash your hands again because they're all oily now. Plus, you don't want to spread diseases like E. coli or salmonella or whatever the hell it is pork gives you, which we've all decided we don't know. Nobody knows. Parasites? Pork just gives you parasite? Like a tapeworm? Like I could lose weight by eating shitty pork? I think the pork is done, guys. We're going to pull the pork out. We're all going to get a tapeworm. I'm going to skip that. We're going to skip the tapeworm portion of the evening, guys, if that's okay. Ooh, let's make sure we keep stirring this. And again, we're going to bring this to a boil now, guys. It is feeling nice and good. Let's go ahead and increase that heat now to closer to an 8, closer to a 7 or an 8. I'm going to go about 7.5. Let's get this working. Again, if you make sure when you're stirring it, keep the fork curved to the bottom and run it along the bottom of the pan. You can kind of feel as you just kind of move it around in a circle whether it's running across like grainy sugars or not. And if it's not running across grainy sugars, you're good. It's all mixed together. If you still feel it while you're doing that, running across grainy sugars, keep stirring it because it's not ready to be brought to a boil. It's going to burn a little bit if you don't keep stirring it. Feel a couple of grains here on the outside. I want to make sure they don't get caught. They will burn. All right, we'll bring that to a boil. And then we have about 5 minutes left before we add the asparagus in with our pork tenderloin, which is perfect because this balsamic glaze, once it starts to boil, it's going to have to simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes, which is the remainder of the cook time for our pork and our asparagus. See what I did there? That way everything comes out hot and fresh, guys. This is the way you organize the kitchen. It's the way you work smart and not hard, drunk and not sober. I don't remember because I've been drinking and I'm drunk and not sober. So there's another thing. Full and not hungry. Let's go with that. Let's go full and not hungry. Working full.
You should have less under the apron next time.
Well, so, you know, we talked about that. I was going to do this whole thing in just my underwear, but I wore my really cute cat pants that my mother-in-law got me because I thought that might win me brownie points with the mother-in-law. So I did that, you know, and then I just assumed, hey, I have a wife, so maybe I don't go super naked.
Yeah, that's a different show.
Yeah, well, those shows will come. I was going to save that for like a Valentine's Day episode maybe, you know, where all of a sudden, hey, I'm cooking in my undies because we're making breakfast on the day after Valentine's Day.
Can you guess how many times you've washed your hands so far?
I would say 8. If I had to guess, I would say 8 times.
On the money.
Am I? 8 times?
8.
8 times I've washed my hands so far.
I think it was 8, yeah.
I know I wash them a lot while I cook, but hey man, come on. I have people over all the time who want to eat and want to hang out. Like, of course I'm going to wash my hands a lot. I want to make sure that I'm not, you know, touching my nose or touching something and then putting it in the food. That's a better health record than VT ever had.
Oh, that's not nice.
Did I burn somebody? I didn't burn anybody. You quiet down.
You're on the internet.
You quiet down. OSHA's not here. All right, we're starting to boil here now. You can see it kind of boil. Let me bring you in just a little closer so you guys can see this kind of boil here. But you got this boiling now. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to lower this. We're going to bring it to about a 2, a 2.5 up here on the meter. And we're going to let it just kind of simmer and reduce for about the next 20 minutes. We don't have to do much to it. Stir it occasionally. Really don't go nuts. You know, like sometimes less is more. You don't have to do much to that because we want it to maintain its heat. If you stir it too often, it's going to lose too much of its heat, and then it's not going to be hot enough to continue to simmer. It's going to take too long, and it's not going to come out in time. Long explanations for things, but that's how you learn how to cook. Now, again, we're going to have a little mid-shift kind of cleanup. I did empty out the dishwasher prior to, so I'm just going to toss stuff in there. And once you'll notice, everything's pretty much done and clean, and all I'm going to have to do is serve food, throw out the aluminum foil that the pork was made on, and I don't have to do any cleanup after I'm done eating, guys. That's one of the best things about the way that I cook. I give you time to do the cleanup. My wife loves it too because it means she has to do less dishes at the end of the night because when I cook, she got clean, baby. I'm just saying, come on.
That's the deal.
It's a fair trade-off. Fair trade.
Cook, the other cleans.
Right? Exactly. Somebody cooks, the other person should clean. It's a fair trade-off. If that's not what you do at your house, I'm sorry for you.
Fair trade.
Unless, you know, like, you got, like, if one person's not working at all, all right, I get it. You got to cook and you got to clean. All right? Like, come on, do a little extra.
Pay your dues.
Yeah, pay your dues. Pay your dues. I work full-time. I'm a tired man. Because I can cook doesn't mean you should always get the benefit if you ain't willing to help out. I don't know what somebody just said.
Everybody was nervous about how that was going to play out when you said if you cook, I gotta clean. But I agree.
Oh, yeah, you better. You better. You better. This is why she loves me, guys. I had a little blog back in the day. I only did like 2 inserts. It's called whySheLovesMe.com. And it's basically because I can cook and I make it very easy on her for the cleaning. So I do what I do.
Service Bar Gang says you're doing a great job.
Ooh, Service Bar Gang, tuning in, huh? Who's working tonight? I want to go check my hot schedules. I don't even know who's in there tonight.
Genesis is updating us. She said, who was it? Hold on. I'll find it.
I'm close to a 3 on this glaze, guys. Close to a 3. And then, oh, perfect. It's time to throw the asparagus into the oven. It also gives us a chance to check on our pork tenderloin. Oh, that is looking just delightful right there. Let's go ahead and grab this asparagus. Put this right next to it. Now guys, I'm going to throw a little spice into your life if it's something you want to do. It's something I might do. It's not for everybody, but it is for me. And that is sprinkling a little Parmesan cheese over your asparagus. Now's the time to do it, guys. If you want to, sprinkle a little Parmesan, grated, preferably, by the way, number 9, right over your asparagus. It's going to bake in there. It'll crisp up just a little bit, which honestly gives a slight amount of crunch to the asparagus, and the asparagus gets a little cool, which is nice. Go ahead, grab just a little tiny bit of Parmesan. Sprinkle it right over the top. That's right. That's the little hidden Easter egg tonight, guys. Little Easter egg, little Parmesan cheese Easter egg for you. All right, let's pop it right back in. We're going to go ahead and set this timer again for 20 minutes. And we're going to let that go. Go ahead and heat up that balsamic glaze to 4. I gave it a little stir, it cooled down a little, so I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. We're all doing the same thing. Heat it up just a little. Make sure it maintains slight bubbling. You want it to maintain a slight simmer. If it's not maintaining a slight simmer, it's not reducing fast enough, it won't be done in time. Let's go ahead and pop this right in here. Put these up top. Up top.
Anthony suggested a cook-off. Deanna said bed down.
Oh, I'm in any day of the week. We can do it all here. I got everything you need. I got a grill. I got the oven. I got a nice stove top. I don't have double grills, so we only have one temperature to go on.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But we'll make it happen.
He said he's working. Everyone's watching this like September 11th at 10 a.m.
Oh no, that's very off color. Very, I will not like that. I will not appreciate that.
Everyone's watching.
But I do like that everybody's watching. Thank you very much. Just cleaning. Doing a little mid-round cleaning, guys. Honestly, for the next few minutes, we're kind of chilling. It's kind of me and you. So this is the indulgent portion of our night. So if you got questions, got things you want to say, there's a particular article of clothing you want me to take off, which has already been requested, let me know. You know, we'll work on it. I can't guarantee my wife's going to be all right with it, but we'll work on it. You know, maybe next time, you know, maybe I make a hanger steak. Get it?
What's your best dish?
My best dish is the dish that I want to eat at that time that I'm craving. So it really depends. Like what, I mean, there's no one thing that I make better than any other things. Apple pie. Apple pie if I got to pick. Gun to my head, apple pie is my best dish. I love my apple pie. Let's see, I can get here and a little bit closer. Cheap. Apple, no cameras, cheap.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know. What's cheap, Anthony? I don't know.
Probably that I don't have a crew. Like I should have a whole camera crew.
Yeah, right?
There should be a squad here.
Lisa and Juan Q at the restaurant. Genesis is watching.
Look at you guys.
Ice.
ISIS?
Oh yeah, Isis was on.
ISIS! What's up? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Watch me make some food and have a good time at my house.
You were saying it was a cop-out, your answer to your best dish question.
Oh, yeah, but I answered. I did answer, in my defense, I did answer apple pie. Like, I gave you something.
And your dad's not begging for internet. Maybe another video.
Dad, I'm not singing in this, okay? If I'm gonna sing, it's gonna be about something I'm cooking, and the song's probably gonna be awkward.
And your mom wants an apple pie.
Glad that didn't end in a different phrase. Just saying.
Deanna said cook off, no cameras.
No, what do you mean no cameras? It's the only way to cook off is fun. Oh, this glaze is coming along nice, guys. Make sure you keep an eye on it. Like I said, stir it occasionally. Just make sure it doesn't get, burnt on the bottom because it is tough to get off of your pans. That's the only problem. You burn a bunch of glaze onto your pans, it's a pain in the butt to get off. I'm gonna plug this bad boy back in, make sure we don't lose power here. Listen, you guys get to see me up close with my handsome face. I know you like that.
Can you tell us about a disaster that you've had in the kitchen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The very first time I tried to cook Thanksgiving, God, there were so many disasters that year. So I was living up in New York. We had this tiniest little kitchen ever. And I wasn't really super adept in cooking yet. I'd cooked a couple of times. But what I did was I went to the store and I picked out what I thought was a decent sized bird. Okay? It was the kind of bird, though, that you leave in the bag while you roast it. So I never had to take it out of the bag that it came in. I was supposed to roast it in the bag. So I put it in the oven. I roast it. It goes pretty well until we pull the bird out. Okay, so I pull this bird out now of this roasting bag. We cut the bag open. I pull the bird out. I had roasted it upside down, which first of all was just not a good thing to do because the breasts, they were sitting down at the bottom like submerged in all the juices. It wasn't the way it was supposed to be. Nothing really tasted right. The skin was disgusting. And then I also realized that I'd bought a chicken instead of a turkey. So not only did I cook the bird for Thanksgiving upside down, I also decided it was a good night to make roast chicken instead of roast turkey. So that's probably the worst thing I've ever done in the kitchen in terms of me screwing up. Have you not heard this story?
I just am remembering how
You didn't remember? It's ridiculous.
This was before me.
Well, this was just before I decided that cooking was something I really did. Look, this was early on when I moved to New York, and I gotta tell you, a lot of my love for cooking came out of me living in New York and being poor as all fucking hell. Pardon my French. I don't make sure that doesn't go out there too far. But when you're poor and all you're eating is pizza that's $1 by the slice and ramen noodles, you try to get creative. So you start to learn how to cook a little bit because you're just making stuff up. You know, you're like, here's what I gotta do. What am I gonna do with these ramen noodles? Ooh, I know. Chicken's not that expensive. I'll get some chicken and I'll cook some chicken. I'll throw in the ramen noodles, but then you mess up the chicken. So then you're like, I gotta Google how to cook chicken so that I can make chicken right with my ramen noodles because I know the ramen noodles are good. But I don't want to mess up the ramen noodles. You know, and then you move on to shrimp. And then you try other things and you're like, I'm gonna make beef flavor, I'm gonna do little filet mignon tips. But before you know it, you're eating at home. You're eating decadent foods. You're not spending a whole hell of a lot of money. And you're having fun cooking, you know? Like, nothing I've done tonight has been too much work. Like, it's been me shuffling around the kitchen, drinking beer, having a decent time, and later on my wife's gonna eat this, and she'll love me for it. And that's why she loves me. It's because I learned how to cook. I got lucky. I mean, it doesn't hurt that I'm incredibly ruggedly handsome and all the other things that go along with me being me. But cooking's a big part. Just don't eat too much. I gotta get another beer. Sorry, I gotta get another beer. Guys, I got mine at about a 4.5 right now, and it's bubbling quite nice. So if you're right around a 4.5 and you're cooking with me and it's bubbling quite nice, it's looking pretty good. Can't make ramen noodles without sesame oil. Are we talking homemade ramen noodles? Because I'm literally talking the pack of ramen that you add hot water to. Like, that's what I was eating. Sesame oil was expensive. I couldn't afford sesame oil. I was $5 for a 10-pack of ramen noodles, and that is what I was eating for weeks. Ooh, and peanut butter and jellies. Peanut butter and jellies were key. So key. Honestly, I didn't really like peanut butter until I lived in New York. And then I decided that peanut butter was absolutely essential to everything I was doing in life, and I needed peanut butter. There's peanut butter in the fridge right now. I had a spoonful of peanut butter yesterday when I woke up. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, and the day before that, but the day before that, I was a little hungover, and I really needed some peanut butter. Great for hangovers. I'm just saying, it's not bad for hangovers. Don't forget, every now and then, stir this balsamic just a little bit. Just a little something going. It's not coating anything just yet, so it is not done reducing. But when it is, it's going to be a gorgeous drizzle for our dish. Now you can plate however you like. I have nice white plates because I really enjoy my presentation. So we got nice white plates. Thank you to all the people who came to our wedding and gave us money and things like that. Your money went towards helping us buy these plates. I appreciate that. But it brings out the colors. It lets the food speak for itself, not the spoon speak for itself. That would be a whole different weird Rick and Morty thing, I would imagine, where the planet has first and last words crossing letters. We're not doing that tonight. We're just gonna plate some gorgeous food.
Your dad's got you on the big screen.
Dad, that's creepy. Okay, you having me on the big screen. I've commandeered the house now. Hold on, because now, wait, hold on. I have to imagine I'm in my dad's house and this is what he's seeing. On his big, and by the way, he's got like an 80-inch television in his living room. So imagine me on whatever device you're watching right now, but my dad is sitting 12 feet from and 80 inches. And here I am. Father! You are my father. You, Dennis. I come to you thanking you for life. Appreciating that the fact that I am cooking for all of these people now is due in part to you, sir. It just seemed like that would be fun. Like my dad's sitting in his chair right now going, what the hell is my son doing? And that was what I decided to do. So thank you, Dad. I appreciate the support, and I hope that that was fun for you with me pointing at you in the chair. Wait, no. Hold on, I have to think backwards, forwards. He sits in the chair closest to the window, which I imagine is going to be that way on his screen. You, Dad. You, right there. You, Father. You, finger in your face, Father, are the reason I am here. All of these people have you to blame.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, I thought that was good. I thought that was fun. Was that not fun? Should I have not done that?
No, that was cute.
Don't forget to stir your balsamic glaze. Because we're right at that point right now where it's time to stir the balsamic glaze a little bit. We got about 8 minutes and 50 seconds left on everything in the oven, guys. Don't open the oven when you're cooking a lot. Really don't. Every time you open the oven, it loses like 25 degrees of its temperature, which means that you're losing heat, which means your food isn't cooking as fast, which means you need to leave it in there longer, and certain things it just screws up. So just don't do it. You know, like it's silly. Just trust the process, trust the recipe, trust that it's gonna be delicious. You'll notice I don't really measure out salts and peppers and things like that either, because it's really all to taste. You know, add as much salt if you want. If you go and you taste something and you go, that's bland. Awesome. There's a solution for that. Add some salt. That's all you need to do. You know, you can season it a little more next time when you cook, but the entire thing about cooking is it's a learning process. You're gonna fail, you're gonna succeed, you're gonna have a good time, you're gonna have a bad time, but you're probably gonna have a better time than a bad time. Now, just as a heads, I told you this was gonna take us about an hour to get done. We started a little after 7, it's about 8:01, and we got 7 minutes left, guys. So again, dinner like this, done in about an hour. And once you see the way that this looks, and you know that you can do it for guests coming over, or you know that you can do it for somebody that you love and you want to make some dinner for, it's really easy and it's really worth it. Because again, I'm just drinking beer, chatting with you guys while I'm cooking some food. Having a good time. Patty, Patty, shark doo 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 doo, Patty, shark doo 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 doo, Patty, shark doo 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 doo, Patty, shark. Stealing tables, do 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 do. Stealing tables, do 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 do. Taking tables, do 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 do. Taking tables. It's Patty, shark, do 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 do. Patty, shark, do 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 do. Patty, that was for you. I love you, and we do love your. I mean, honestly, if it's the end of my shift and I'm over there working in the dining room, and you're stealing tables at 3:30, you're my favorite person in the world. Favorite person in the world. And honestly, even if I'm working with you, you steal tables. You're my favorite person in the world. I like you, Patty Shark.
Your Aunt June would like sorry.
Huh?
Your Aunt June would like you to know that you're at 131 comments.
Ooh. Thanks, guys. Keep them coming. Come on, we're not done yet. Dinner's not plated. Dinner's not ready. I am not feasting. You are not feasting yet, though. Hopefully, you're cooking with me. Is anybody actually cooking with me? Is there a single confirmation out there of anybody who was brave enough to go out this first time earlier today, buy all of these ingredients, come home and go, I'm going to cook with Jeff Rife tonight? Because it's probably not. I'm not going to lie. This was something we thought of a couple nights ago. If not, was it last night?
Last night.
I think I thought of this last night. And we decided, you know what, this would be fun on my day off to do because I love to cook and I love you guys, you know, so what's better than cooking with you guys, drinking some beer, and making I was going to cook anyways. Normally right now I would just have some music on in the background and I'd be doing nothing but drinking some beer and cooking some food. But now, you know, I get entertained. So really, thank you guys. This is giving me something to do while I cook delicious food for my wife. Why? Because cooking the way I cook is that easy. That's right, that easy. So why don't you? Why don't you cook the way I cook? Come on out, join me weekly, monthly. We'll see how often I get this thing off the ground. Learn some recipes with me. Enjoy cooking some of this delicious food and making your life not only more affordable, but more fun. Because quite frankly, who wants to go wait in line at a restaurant? Who wants to go deal with a bad server? You know, not that there are any at VT. We all know there aren't, so if you go to VT, you're gonna have a good time. You're not gonna pizza when you're supposed to French fry. You're gonna French fry when you're supposed to French fry at the VT. You're gonna have a good time. But I work at the VT. I get my standards. We all have ours. Oh, this balsamic glaze. It smells so good too while you're cooking it. If you get real close, it's a little pungent, so don't stick your face right in it. But if you sit just a little away and you catch it, it's like somebody just walked by with a caprese salad. You know, it's like somebody just slid by you with some fresh mozzarella, which, by the way, there is some fresh mozzarella inside this pork tenderloin. It's gonna be delicious.
They said definitely do this again. You're amazing.
Oh, it's gonna happen again. The real thing is gonna be what do we want to see? What recipes would you like me to make easy for you? Because I'll make them all easy for you guys. You hit me with your requests. You tell me what you want to know how to make. Otherwise, I'm just gonna pick some fun stuff that tastes delicious, that we can all have fun cooking. And next time I'll get you the ingredients a little earlier on, you know, hopefully at the beginning of the week. That way you have time to go out and get them and maybe plan a little night around this with you and your significant other or you and your family, you know, because all you got to do really is double the portions and you make the whole thing for your family. You got food for everybody. Right now, drink some beer.
Some of them are cooking with you, but they're not cooking the same thing.
That's fine. That's fine. Even if I'm just what you're watching while you're cooking, and we're having a good time together, I love it. Let's do some of this. Ah, I'm telling you, the dip. If you don't already, you gotta get in on that. Such wonderful music. We're looking at 3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes until we get to pull this glorious, glorious thing out of the oven. We're gonna slice down into it. Make sure you pull the toothpicks out first. Then we're gonna plate this bad boy. Now I'm thinking about how I wanna plate it. What I'm thinking is asparagus. Long ways on the plate. Pork going over the side. A little drizzle of the balsamic glaze. It seems nice to me. Not everybody has the same plates. Again, I have very nice plates. Are you jelly? You should be jelly. Peanut butter and jelly. Who's telling me to dance? What happened?
Your dad dance moves.
Dad, this is not American Idol. If you want singing and dancing, there are multiple television shows that have singing and dancing, okay? If you want me doing all of this, it's not gonna happen.
Come here, babe.
No.
Come here,
Oh,
babe.
God damn it. Oh, okay.
Babe.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
All right, you got some dance moves, okay? I feel like I just won Dancing with the Stars. Maybe next I'll get traded to the Cleveland Browns like Antonio Brown. Ooh, this balsamic glaze is looking good, guys. Make sure you keep an eye on it. It thickens up quick without you knowing. It is not just quite ready yet, but it is very, very close. Not coating, but close to coating. It should finish up right in about 1.5 minutes, which is all we have left on our pork and asparagus, guys. Oh, yes. Ooh. We are so close to being at perfection that it is very noticeable. I'll put this brown sugar on. It does smell good, doesn't it? You have to go outside. See, that's one of the things that sucks about cooking is once you get stuck in the kitchen for about 20, 30 minutes, you're so acclimated to the scents that you really don't smell anything anymore. But if you walk outside briefly and you walk back in, oh, you get hit in the face with everything that you've done, and it's so nice. So I always recommend at this point, take a little pop outside, take a little pop back in, see what you've done. You're gonna be happy with yourself. That wasn't me walking outside. That goes to a garage. That was not that. That was just me not throwing away, but putting away the brown sugar. Now I'm gonna go outside and take a little sniff test. So just 1 second. Oh, hells yeah. Oh, that smells just wonderful. And our timer just went off on our pork. So our pork should be done. Our asparagus should be done. Our balsamic glaze looks perfect right now. Like it is completely finished. Oh, look at that. Look at that, guys. That is just delicious right there. You got a nice little crunch on the asparagus with a little browning from the Parmesan. You've got a gorgeous looking pork tenderloin right there. Oh, we're gonna have some fun right here. All right, now I'm gonna let the pork tenderloin sit for just a minute or two. because it does have to sit to make sure that some of the cheese re-solidifies and it doesn't all just melt out completely when you cut it open. So don't cut right into your pork tenderloin if you're looking at your pork tenderloin and it's done. Oh yes. Oh, balsamic glaze for days. Ooh. Oh, that just looks wonderful. Look at that. It should be a little thick when it rolls around in there. That is just looking wonderful. That's going to coat the back of the spoon. Let me show you what they mean by coat the back of the spoon, guys. Essentially, when you go and you pull it out, you should see a nice thick coating like that on the back of your spoon. And that means coats the back of the spoon. You want it to be nice and thick. If it's thin and it runs off, it's not finished just yet. If it's nice and thick like that, you're at the pleasure point. Stop, don't go any further. Ooh. No, I can't do it because I gotta serve this to people. But oh, trust me, I want to. And this glaze is just phenomenal right now. That is just, oh, perfection. Perfection with the balsamic glaze. I'm gonna leave it on the heat because I'm gonna turn the heat off and it's only gonna keep it a little warm. You don't wanna get too cold even though it doesn't matter. I just like to serve it hot. I don't want it to chill my food. I may have spilled a little on the floor. This is me wiping that up. Shh. Shh. Oh yeah. Do be careful with the balsamic. That stuff doesn't like to come up. But we're good here. All right, let's do this. Grab some serving things here. Some of this asparagus on here. Notice there's always a little extra, guys. Always make a little extra, because you're gonna want leftovers. And then, this I'm gonna transfer to something to cut it on. Why? Because it looks like I've maintained the integrity of my aluminum foil up until now, and I'd rather just be able to pull the aluminum foil off as opposed to having to, you know, clean this entire thing and just throw the aluminum foil out. Bam, I'm done. So, wish me luck, because this could drip and this could get bad. Oh, I put both. You know what? It's gonna take me a second. We got it right here. Will fit on a plate. Will fit on a glorious plate. Oh, look at that. Look at this delicious thing. That is just wonderful. That looks outstanding. All right, let's get these toothpicks out of here. Where are my toothpicks here? Oh, that's not good. I can't see the toothpicks. I don't know where the hell the toothpicks are. Where the hell did they go?
Start cutting in, you'll find it real quick.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna find them, but I want to take them out before I cut into it. All right, new plan. We're gonna start cutting into it, and once we get a toothpick, then we'll know where the toothpick is, and we're gonna pull it out. We got plans for this. Don't you worry.
Slowly. You're to rinse your knife.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna rinse my knife. I learned my lesson. I did. See that? Now I'm not eating steel. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to live with for the rest of my life. Oh, but look at those little delicious medallions. Ooh, oh, those are gonna be so good. Ooh, plus, ooh, look at that. Toothpick number 1.
Hey!
Got it. Good thing I put toothpicks in it. Oh, these are looking just phenomenal. Mmm.
We've got extra. Who's coming over?
Who wants to help find the toothpicks?
Matt Jackson says this is the best thing he's ever watched.
Oh, found a toothpick.
Toothpick!
All right, that's still only 2 of 4. So there are some toothpicks in here, but I know where they are. And we will make sure that we don't eat them.
Maybe buy colored toothpicks next time since the pork is beige.
Maybe just don't stick them in so far. Oop, found another toothpick. Guys, I'm so good at finding toothpicks. Just wait, I'm gonna be a toothpick champion.
One more left.
That's 3 of the toothpicks. Yeah, there's only 1 toothpick in here now, guys. I'm gonna consider that a success. Okay? Because, I mean, come on. Who's gonna serve a pork tenderloin to their guests with 4 toothpicks in it? That's too many toothpicks, guys. But if you could limit the toothpicks in your pork tenderloin, stuff like this, to just 1 toothpick, you've done a pretty good job. You have done a pretty good job, my friend. You can look back on this delicious stuffed pork tenderloin. Ooh, you like that, don't you? With the spinach boiling out of the inside. And say, I did a good job. I did a good thing. Wife, if you eat the toothpick, I'm super sorry. You can say all of that and still be the man. Let's go ahead and let's plate these guys. Oh yes, we are gonna go cross. We're gonna go cross. I like the cross. Ooh. Come here, you.
Matt Jackson says to tell you hazy, hazy. He's not.
He's not? He's not? He's on the run, he's on the run. 273 north, 273 north. Don't worry guys, inside joke, little inside humor.
They said fire, looks delicious.
All right, the only thing we still gotta add, again, a little bit of leftovers, there should always be a little bit of leftovers, is our balsamic glaze, guys. Don't forget to wipe the plate. Presentation means something.
Don't forget to leave mine glazed.
I'm gonna not glaze yours. My wife's can't be glazed, she's on a special diet, but one of the reasons I chose this recipe is because this is all stuff she can have. Again, why she loves me, so. Oh, look at this glaze. And then just drizzle the glaze over the top, guys. Oh, look at that. It's a nice little glaze drizzle, guys. That looks fantastic. So here is our plate tonight, guys. That's right. You have pork over asparagus, stuffed with spinach, Italian cheeses, and served with the balsamic glaze. It is pretty freaking nice, if I do say so myself. Your kid may just know how to cook, and you may just be able to cook like him if you continue liking me and this live feed and coming back again every week, guys. I would love to stick around and chat a little bit, perhaps take off a layer or two. However, I gotta go eat because that looks good. Don't forget to turn off your ovens. Don't forget to turn off your stovetops. And enjoy your slice of Rife. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you coming out.